Hey guys, Sean here and welcome to the F1 Word. Coming up in this week's news roundup, Pat Symonds thinks F1 should consider 3-car teams in the future. Nico Hulkenberg believes that Haas are a bigger threat than McLaren. According to Christian Horner, Ferrari are now the benchmark. Stoffel Vandoorne is confident of keeping his McLaren seat in 2019, and Williams are looking for a fix to their rear wing problems. As ever, timestamps for all these stories will be in the description and pinned in the comment section, along with the source material used. All that said, let's jump into it. Kicking us off then, and Pat Symonds has said that Formula 1 should consider allowing teams to run more or less than the 2 cars they are currently bound to use. Under current and long-standing regulations, teams are expected to run 2 cars for every event unless exceptional circumstances arise, such as driver illness or injury. However, Symonds, the sport's former technical director, believes that the possibility of single or 3-car teams should at least be discussed, and also stated that they were looking to extend the current number of 20 cars on the grid. Symonds said, "It hasn't been on the agenda, but it's a good point and probably at our next meeting it's something we will debate. What has been considered is what is the ideal number of cars, more in the context of should we introduce more teams to Formula 1. I think at the moment one of the problems that Formula 1 has suffered from is that the teams have probably held too much power. It's a little bit of turkeys voting for Christmas sometimes. I guess they'll be worried that if there was a smaller number of teams with a big power base, that's probably not conducive to change, and we all need to change and evolve as our sport changes and as the world around us changes. This isn't the first time 3-car teams has been put on the table in recent years, and with numbers dwindling and teams struggling financially, it could become a real possibility if the 2021 regulations fail to encourage new teams and manufacturers to enter the sport." Nico Hulkenberg has said that he believes Haas have jumped ahead of McLaren as Renault's biggest threat to 4th in the Constructors' Championship. Haas currently sit 5th in the standings and are 19 points behind the French manufacturer, and only the 2 ahead of Force India and 3 clear of McLaren. But despite having a healthy lead at this point of the season, Nico knows that the situation would be very different had Haas not squandered so many points this year. When asked if the team were Renault's biggest threat, the German stated, "It looks like it now, since the last couple of weekends. I think it's shifted around with Haas coming through more, and McLaren seem to have lost out a little bit. We take them seriously because they are fast. How they got there doesn't really play a role for me. They are strong at the moment and we just have to deal with it. They fulfilled their potential in Austria, whereas before, they've really missed out. The momentum sometimes swings around, but at the end of the day, they have a strong car and a good package." So let's take this story and use it for this week's question, or more accurately, questions. Do you believe Haas are Renault's main threat this year? And who do you think will win the battle for 4th place in the Constructors' Championship? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Christian Horner believes that it is now Ferrari and not Mercedes who have the benchmark engine in Formula 1. Since the start of the hybrid era in 2014, the Silver Arrows have dominated the sport, but have come under increasing pressure from their Italian rivals as the law of diminishing returns began to kick in. And now, following an impressive string of performances from all Ferrari-powered teams, Horner feels as though the Scuderia now hold the advantage. The Red Bull boss said, "I think it's setting the benchmark now. You can see with Haas and Sauber as well having made good gains." And speaking to Autosport about his own team's engine situation for next season and the apparent similar performance between Honda and Renault this year, Horner said he felt that Honda's plan for future development was the key. He continued, "You can see the situation between the engines is very similar at the moment, and it's all about the potential development. This weekend has been a very tough weekend for Renault, and it just very clearly defines where the level is at. You can't hide behind the statistics of what we've seen. There is a gap to fill. In Honda, we have a lot of belief in what they have coming in the pipeline." As I'm sure you will all know very well by now, Red Bull will make the switch to Honda for 2019, ending a long relationship with Renault, a partnership that yielded 4 consecutive drivers and constructors titles at the height of its power. Speculation has been rife in recent weeks over the future of both Fernando Alonso and Stoffel Vandoorne. However, despite an inconsistent and difficult start to 2018, particularly versus his teammate, the Belgian believes he has shown McLaren why he deserves to be kept on in 2019. Speaking to Motorsport Week, Vandoorne said, "I think it's the time of year where everyone talks to everyone. Before the summer break is usually a moment everyone speaks about the driver market, and yeah, that's kind of normal. We've never really discussed that with the media, so I'm not really going to go into that." The Belgian was then asked whether he believes he's done enough to stay at McLaren beyond the end of 2018, to which he replied, "I think so, yeah, I'm pretty sure. For sure, it's not been a year and a half I was hoping to have in Formula 1. Ultimately, we've been struggling a lot in terms of the results, We've had both years a car that struggled to fight for points, let's say. I feel I've taken a lot of positive out of this as well. In going through difficult times, how to deal with certain issues is something I didn't really have when I was in junior series. So the approach has been quite different, and it made me definitely a stronger driver. So far this season, Vandoorne has been outperformed massively by teammate Alonso, with the Spaniard scoring a total of 40 points so far, and the Belgian picking up just 8. And finally, Williams are confident that they can solve what they have described as a catastrophic problem with their new rear wing, which has resulted in the problem of aerodynamic stalls, something evidenced at last weekend's British Grand Prix. Following spins during qualifying for both Lance Stroll and Sergei Sorokin, the team made the decision to switch back to the old rear wing on both cars until a fix could be found. And Chief Technical Officer Paddy Lowe, who described the issue as intermittent and catastrophic, has insisted the team will endeavour to find a solution as soon as possible. He stated, "In that situation, it's really such an extreme loss of downforce that it is not really safe. Of course, we could consider racing without using any DRS, but that is not a way to compete. I am sure there is a way through this, that we just need to understand. I don't think there is anything sort of fundamentally wrong with this rear wing. It is something in the way everything has been put together. It is a combination that is causing some strange phenomenon. We don't have the answers right now. We want to do some more evaluations." A few weeks back, Williams stated that they had put recovery plans in place to try and turn around what has been a disastrous start to 2018, and Paddy Lowe has pledged that new updates will arrive in time for the German and Hungarian Grand Prix. That is it for this week's news roundup. Don't forget to put your opinions on the battle for fourth in the comments section, and of course, your thoughts on any of the stories featured. I will be back soon with more content as ever, and don't forget to join us this Sunday at 7 PM UK time for our usual live stream. In the meantime, though, you can follow me on social media. Links to Twitter, Instagram, Facebook and to Discord are all in the description down below. But as ever, thank you for watching. I've been Sean. This has been the F1 Word, and until next time, goodbye.